Rogue started off LEC Spring with a perfect 9-0 record, beating every opponent in the first half of the season and cementing themselves as the top team in Europe. This was a huge surprise for most, from fans to analysts and players alike who didn't expect Rogue to be as strong after losing star player Hans Sama and the summer 2021 MVP in Inspired. Going into 2022, and with two positions to fill, Rogue picked up Calm to fill in the bot lane position, a pickup that is fitted like a glove as his aggressive, dominant laning is similar to the player he replaced, and pairs well with Trimby, a player that is not afraid to pick up enchanters to play for advantages in lane. But perhaps the most surprising change has been the introduction of Malrang, a player who has a completely different playstyle from the team's former jungler. Today, we're going to have a look at Rogue's new roster and look at how their new jungler has shifted Rogue's playstyle. At a first glance, some of Malrang's stats look very abnormal from the rest of the league, especially when considering a 9-0 record in the first half of the season. The Korean jungler averaged a negative 16 CS differential at 14 minutes and is on average 150 gold behind the enemy jungler. So what is happening in game? In 2021, the team played for maximum efficiency in the jungle, playing around respawn timers and for jungle tempo to get inspired ahead. Malrang, on the other hand, is someone who sacrifices his time to help out his laners instead of getting resources for himself. Let's have a look at what he's been doing in some of Rogue's recent matches. Having information on where a jungler started can help deduce where they will be going and what their first clear will look like. Generally speaking, spotting the enemy jungler is very valuable to help out laners so they can adapt how they play out their lane matchups and manage their waves. In the week 4 match against G2, Trimby gets an important level 1 ward on the enemy red buff. Not only does this ward spot where Jankos is starting, it also shows him clearing towards his topside. Malrang reacts to this by clearing his own topside for level 3 and then invading the enemy jungle to find Jankos. He then takes Scuttle on his way out and attempts a gank mid before heading to his bot camps. While Malrang was invading, Oroamne crashed a huge wave and got the bounce. So by the time G2 looked at a potential gank after Malrang's invade, vision had been secured by Rogue and the lane was in a tough position for G2 to look for a gank. In their week 3 match against Vitality, the tables were turned, as it was Vitality who placed an early blue buff ward to track Rogue's jungler. Knowing that the ward was placed, Malrang avoids it completely and instead clears from wolves into bot camps into top Scuttle. He then moves into the enemy jungle to place a ward at the enemy Krugs before recalling. This ward spots Selfmade later after his base and at the start of his second clear. This info allows Rogue's bot lane to use their range advantage and start playing up against Jinx and Thresh. Then there's the aspect of shadowing his laners. In this Vitality match, Rogue are playing a Caitlyn Lux lane where they have the range advantage and naturally want to get leads in the laning phase. Even though 2 of his camps are up, Malrang rushes to sit behind the bot lane in the lane brush. This is done for 2 reasons. It could be a good window to dive on a stacked wave, but shadowing his laners also has a defensive aspect, as this could be a good window for Selfmade to punish Rogue's bot lane with a Thresh lane gank, and Malrang is there for a possible 3v3. After getting the wave crash, Trimby is now unlocked as he moves together with Malrang to help out Larssen, who is dealing with a wave frozen by perks. Larssen can't step up to clear the wave as this gives LeBlanc kill pressure. The presence of Rogue's support and jungler in the mid lane means Larssen can step up and try to break the freeze. This prompts perks to trade and also to clear the wave, meaning the freeze is now broken as the wave will now crash into Rogue's mid turret. Shadowing lanes like this is especially important when it involves bot lane, as it helps to unlock the support to roam. This is doubly important with Trimby's champion pool, which has been very enchanter focused this season and is susceptible to being punished with ganks. Going back to the aforementioned match against G2 from week 4, Oroamne had a winning match up top, but a kill could swing the matchup, especially post level 6. G2 also had a Twisted Fate, so they can get the Akali rolling if they find a window for it. After the initial invade to find Jankos, we see Malrang visit the top lane multiple times to cover for his laner. At 5:30, he moves together with Trimby to match a potential move from G2's jungle support. At 7 minutes, and after doing red buff, instead of going to farm his bot camps, Malrang is called up to shadow Oroamne as he pushes out the wave. He then farms Krugs and moves to top lane once again. To better illustrate how Malrang can fall behind in experience, in this match he then had to leech experience from his top laner to reach level 6 because of all the time he spent without farming his camps. But it's a trade-off he's willing to make in order to make sure his lanes are safe. This isn't to say other junglers don't do what Malrang is doing, but not to the degree that Rogue does it. In the Vitality match, and after getting a turret and kill in bot lane, and with plates still up, Rogue quickly calls to get Caitlyn top to get plates before they fall off at 14 minutes. After taking the Wolf camp, Malrang and Trimby roam together from mid to top to clear vision and cut Vitality from accessing the top lane. After plates drop, he stays around, moving back and forth to continuously clear vision, grab Scuttle, use the Scryer's Bloom to check for more enemy vision. It reaches a point where 5 of his jungle camps are up, yet he's still covering for his Caitlyn. All in all, Malrang falls behind in gold and especially experience because he spends a lot of time covering for his lanes. He covers for them either by spending extra time warding, finding the enemy jungler himself and invades, or by shadowing behind his laners in brushes. From a farming efficiency standpoint, it's fair to say that Malrang's style is not efficient, which has drawn skepticism from fans and also his peers, but for the most part, it's something that has worked out. As the league progresses and as teams get accustomed to how Rogue is playing, things might not work out as well, and if they don't, well, then Rogue just ends up with a resource-starved jungler that is unable to match his counterpart in the mid-game. However, it's important to recognize that this playstyle is likely both a conscious effort from him, as well as from his laners calling for him to help unlock problematic lane situations. It will be interesting to see how Rogue progresses through the rest of the season and potentially into playoffs, and if Malrang and his new team will have to change things up to remain the top dog in the league.